Till death do us part is usually a vow for marriage, but you can kinda say the same about being part of the Mafia. So what happens when someone tries to change their ways and leave this thing of ours behind? While there are organized crime organizations all over the world, the term Mafia only applies to one. Also referred to as Cosa Nostra, which translates to our thing or our affair, the Mafia refers to the secretive organization that came to the US with Italian immigrants. Oh, it's obviously not much of a secret anymore. While certain rules cover the whole Mafia, what happens when you leave are different in each branch, under each boss, and for each individual. What we know about these stories comes from the people who've left and lived to tell the tale. And would you believe there's not many of them? Michael Franzese, former capo of New York's Colombo crime family, has provided a lot of information on this topic over the years. He left the Mafia in 1995 and carries on a successful life preaching Christianity, writing, and commenting on Mafia-related topics. Speaking with ABC News, Franzese explained that there's no clear set of steps for leaving the Mafia and making it out alive. In fact, he even had a hit put out on him.
I didn't know how it was going to turn out because I never sell my former associates short. They're very capable.
He explained on the Happy Hour podcast that the reason for this uncertainty is that when a member of the Mafia leaves, their fellow gangsters assume he'll become a witness against them. In the interview, he pointed to Fortune magazine's 1986 list of the 50 wealthiest global Mafia members, where he ranked number 18. Of all the made men who charted, he's one of 2 still alive, and the only free man.
Well, out of the 50, some 30 years later, 48 of them are dead.
Wow.
Number 49 is doing life in prison.
He also maintains an air of mystery around the topic of how he got out, how he survived the contract on his life, and how he transitioned to his post-Mafia living. He attributes his current life to God and his wife, and that's it. Beyond Franzese, most people who leave the Mafia do so with intervention from some external protective organization or person. Take the case of John Panisi, who left the New York Mafia in 2018 and talked to Insider about some of its key rules. It's been reported that Panisi left after becoming a government witness in 2017 and working with the FBI. Outside of the US, the Italian government is stepping in early to prevent children from getting involved in the Mafia through family ties. BBC reports that Italian law in Calabria allows for children to separate from parents in the event that they induce a child to commit criminal acts. So this is one drastic way for young people to leave the Mafia before they get too deep. But if someone does get too deep, especially women, then people like Luigi Ciatti try to help them escape. Based in Turin, Italy, he helps ex-Mafia members get new names and identities, hide evidence of their past, and more. We understandably know little of those people's post-Mafia lives, so he's probably doing a good job. Beyond escaping, there's one more option that's rarely afforded to only certain members: retirement. New York Mafia boss Joe Bonanno retired following a series of strange circumstances and choices. He failed to show up at court to testify regarding organized crime, went into hiding in 1964, then showed up again in 1966 before an interfamily mafia war erupted. Then, in the middle of things, he threw up his hands and left. His high rank, and possibly the circumstances leading up to his exit, meant that he was allowed to leave peacefully. We don't know exactly what kind of life he led afterwards, but he did write an autobiography about his time in the Mafia, and even appeared on 60 Minutes. Similarly, John Gotti Jr. also resolved to leave the Mafia in the late 90s. He sought his father's blessing to leave, cooperated with authorities, and got a plea deal for racketeering charges. He ultimately served time in prison, after which CBS News reports he retired to a comfortable property on 2 acres of land. Unfortunately, each of these reasonably happy endings are very much the exception, not the norm. In most cases, you never leave the Mafia, at least not alive.